Alright, what is up everybody? It's King Flub with Over the Hill Gaming, bringing you another Diablo 3 build guide. Today we are going to look at the Necromancer Blood Nova build using the Tragols avatar set. Um, this is, I believe, one of the, if not the best, solo pushing build for Necromancer. I've been having a lot of fun with it. It is a blast. You're so much toughness, so much damage. There are a few weaknesses though. We're going to go over everything here, show you guys how to run this set. So first of all, let's go over this set itself. So we have the 2 set. It's going to give Blood Rush and Blood Siphon the effect of every rune, and then your life spending abilities no longer cost essence. Your life spending abilities no longer cost essence. So for Blood Essence and Blood Rush, Blood Rush and Siphon Blood, you don't even need to choose a specific rune for it. You just get all of them. We'll go over that in just a little bit here. The 4 set, while at full life, your healing from skills is added to your maximum life for 45 seconds, up to 300% more. So I feel like this is a little bit confusing. 300%, we'll show you guys how that works. It's essentially 300 stacks of additional life through healing, and I'll show you guys how that all works. But gives us a lot of health, and then finally the 6 set, your life spending abilities deal 10,000% increased damage, and your healing from all skills is increased by 100%. So what this build does really well is you have a lot of damage, you have a lot of toughness, and you have a lot of healing. There are some things you're going to get one shot by, especially in higher GRs, but otherwise there's like you just don't have issues with staying alive. Some builds are a lot squishier. You have to use extra points in vitality or run certain runes or all. This build does it all very well. The damage isn't quite the same as the Meteor Wizard build. Not quite there. The Wiz pulls ahead in that, but I feel like we have it with the survivability here. Alright, so that's the set. Really quick, we're going to go through the abilities. So first, Siphon Blood. It's a generator, gives us essence. We siphon blood from the target, and it heals us for 2% of our total health every second while this is channeled. So we're getting a 4% heal every second while we channel, and then we're also getting all of these additional runes. So we're getting sucking in health globes, we're getting slowing enemies, we're getting stacks of damage. The damage here is really pretty minimal. Siphon Blood does not do a whole lot of damage up front. It's really the Blood Novas. Essence gains is increased while you're at full health, which you almost always are. And then this is a big one, increases the amount of health restored to 6%. So the set gives us 100%, and that 6 at 100% increased healing. So we are currently healing 12% of our life every second, or I don't know if it's every time the ability does damage or every second, but a 12% health heal, which may not sound a lot. A lot of builds you're having between 600,000 to maybe a million health, but we have a lot more health than that. I'll show you guys in just a little bit here. So then for our spender, Death Nova. Death Nova with the Blood Nova rune. So the health cost still applies, but the essence cost is no more. So if we go ahead and just use this here, not using any essence, just costs us a good chunk of health here, but we'll go over that and how we keep that up. So for our action bar skills here, we're going to want to run Bone Armor Dislocation. This is going to give us a massive amount of damage reduction, 30% once you get the 10 stacks, and we are going to be stunning enemies for 2 seconds every single time we use it, which is going to work really well with some of the legendaries we have, and we'll go over that as well. So then we got a curse, frailty, aura of frailty. There are other curses you can run. This is the one I prefer. I don't have to use it ever. It's an aura um, that executes enemies below 15% health. Super easy to use. I'm going for the ease of use here. I don't want to have another ability. I just want to focus on the Blood Novas, and you can see this. So it's this ring here around me, and this can actually be increased by your gold pickup radius, 50% of it. So you can make this even bigger if you get somehow perfect gear and want to re-roll, or get lucky and just get the gold pickup radius on it. Next we have Blood Rush, which with the 2-piece also gives us every rune. So you see here for Siphon Blood and Blood Rush, I don't have a rune selected. You can if it makes you feel better, but you don't need to. So we have a 5% health cost and a 5-second cooldown. We are getting all 5 runes here. So we're going to get an armor increase, 100% for 2 seconds after casting. Great survivability. Transfusion, an extra heal, although we don't really need it. Molting leaves a corpse behind. We don't really use corpses with this build, so it's not that big of a deal. Hemostasis doesn't cost any health, which is nice. It was 5% before. I'm not really spamming this too much, so it's not that big of a deal, but that's nice. And then metabolism is the big one. Provides an additional charge, but doubles the health cost. But we also removed the health cost. So we just get 2 charges for free. Awesome. And then finally, Simulacrum, Blood and Bone. So create 2 simulacrums made of blood and bone that will duplicate your secondary skills for 10 seconds. This may seem like a short window, but we have some legendary items that really make this great. And I'll show you those soon. Now for the passives. We're going to run standalone. Increases armor by 100%, reduced by 10% for each active minion. I do believe the simulacrums count as minions. Don't quote me on that. No, I'm not sure. Either way, there's only 2 of them, so we're getting an 80% armor increase, which is pretty nice. Swift Harvesting increases the attack speed of Bone Spikes, Siphon Blood, and Grim Scythe by 15%. So that means our Siphon Blood, has increased attack speed, which is great for us, and I'll tell you why soon. We're running Final Service. You don't have to take this. It's just a safety precaution. The build does put you in some precarious situations. The Blood Nova build excels in AoE, and the more enemies around you, the better. We'll show you guys all how that works. So there are some situations where you're standing under or on top of elite mobs on purpose. You got to be in the middle of it, so this can kind of help with that. And then finally, this is a little extra damage boost, 1% damage bonus for each enemy afflicted by one of your curses. We're looking to have at least 25 enemies around us at once. This is not always possible if you're speed running, but for higher GRFs or group content where you're going to have big pulls around you, you're going to get enough use out of this. Alright, so that's it for the abilities and passives. Let's go and look at some of these legendaries that we're using. I guess we'll start off here with the weapon and focus, or what is this? Offhand, phylactery. So, Funary pick. We're using the pick. One-handed scythe. So the reason this is so good, Siphon Blood drains blood from 2 additional targets. So we're hitting 3 targets total. Each target takes 300% increased damage from you. Unless there's only 1 target, then it gains double the increased damage. The bonus from Siphon Blood Power Shift is now 20% per stack and benefits all skills. So, what this is doing is not only, so the Power Shift damage increased by 10% each time damage is dealt, max 10 stacks. So this will stack up, and I can show you. This will on our bar. It'll stack up to 10 stacks, which would normally give Siphon Blood 100% damage increase. But so now the bonus is 20% per stack and benefits all skills. So we're giving all abilities we use a 200% damage increase, which is why this is so good. And then for the phylactery, we're using Iron Rose. Mine's kind of garbage here, but I had the higher end of the orange text, so that's why I'm using it. Attacking with Siphon Blood has a 100% chance to cast a free Blood Nova. After cumulatively losing 10% of your maximum life, your Death Nova deals 50% increased damage for 6 seconds. This effect stacks up to 10 times. So there is there can be a little bit of you're wanting to lose health in order to maintain these stacks, which can be, I've found, harder in lower G rifts, because we heal so much and do so little. We take so little damage, and losing 10% of our health is actually harder than you think once I show you guys how much health we actually have. But so this is giving us another 500% increased damage on our Death Nova, which is absolutely insane. Let's go over the rings. Convention of Elements, pretty standard. Everyone knows what that is. Nothing new here. The 2 Necromancer jewelry pieces we really want are going to be the Crisbin's Sentence. So this is going to be, you deal 95% increased damage against slowed enemies, or triple this bonus against enemies afflicted by any other type of control impairing effect. So automatically, with our Bane of the Trapped and us being so in the thick of things, if you will, we're automatically getting that orange text percentage up to 100%. I rolled a 95, so I'm getting 95% additional damage all the time against enemies. And then when we use our bone armor, we're stunning enemies. See that big radius there for 2 seconds. You're doing this while simultaneously casting your Blood Nova. So that's where we're getting an additional, essentially 300% increased damage here. And then on both the rings, you're going to want area damage, which I got here. A low roll. I haven't put time into getting it higher, but area damage is a huge stat for us. So I'll go over that at the end as well. And here's where it all starts to come together. Simulacrum now drains 1% of your maximum life every second and lasts forever. Should say, but lasts forever. They can now duplicate Grim Scythe instead of Skeleton Mage. So that doesn't, that last part doesn't actually matter. But so we have the Simulacrums, these 2 little guys here. We have Blood and Bone. They last forever, and you can see my health ticking down and also healing a little bit. Looks like I'm losing more health than I have actually. Potion. Alright, and then finally we're running Mantle of Channeling. Everyone knows what this is. So when channeling Siphon Blood, we're getting a 24% increased damage and reduced damage taken by 25%. The other, there are 2 options for this build. I'll tell you right away, we're using the Ring of Royal Grandeur, and I have chosen to run the Guardians Aversion, Guardians Jeopardy set, which based on every 1,000 vitality or strength, dexterity, or int you have, you're gaining a 1% melee or 1% range damage reduction. So you can see over here I'm blasting, this isn't even like super high, 23,000 intellect right now with 13,000 vitality. So I have a base 2.3 million HP. and a sheet of 3.2 million damage. And honestly, my gear is kind of garbage at the moment. So it gives. I opted for this build because I'll show you how it works. But we have this 4 set that's giving us. So all the healing we're doing is adding stacks of temporary health to our health pool, up to 300%. So essentially, we're getting 300% additional life, which means I'm gonna have to double check, but I'm pretty sure I have something over 8 to 9 million HP, which is then why also the healing from Siphon Blood is so significant. There's a lot of pieces in this build. I guess maybe that's something I could have said up front. I don't feel like the build is super user-friendly right off the bat. There's a lot of pieces that make everything work here. But once you get it going, even just base, no ancients, no primal, nothing, it's fun to run. The other option is you can run the Auguild set, which is going to just give you flat damage reductions and damage dealt, which I didn't really feel a big difference in damage, but I like having the bigger health pool, so that's why I'm running that. If you run the Auguild set, you're going to end up running this Dainty's Binding in the belt slot here, and then manual channeling will be in your cube. Let's go over the cube real fast. I think I covered everything up here. So this is also Blood Tide's Blade. Death Nova deals 400% increased damage for every enemy within 25 yards, up to 25 enemies. I don't know exactly how far away 25 yards is here, but this is where we're getting so much of our bonus damage, and why you want to try to have at least 25 mobs around you when you start to nuke. So then we're running the Dainty's Binding here instead of wearing it. We have that cubed, so you're either cubing the Mantle of Channeling or the Dainty's Binding. Obviously, I could have, ran both here. Oh no, so it's only a 3-piece. So waist, wrist, or head, while this has a 4-piece. So there's more options here. But yeah, essentially you're gonna wear one or the other, the belt or the shoulders. And then we have the Ring of Royal Grandeur. So, as a quick example, I'm already getting this this stack right here is from the Iron Rose. So every time I lose 10% of my maximum life, your Death Nova deals 50% increased damage. So I'm at 6 right now. This is just my simulacrums like ticking down, slowly killing me. I went over this, but then I lost my train of thought. So attacking, this is where the build Iron Rose is probably the most key component to this build. It's annoying that I have a normal legendary one, but attacking with Siphon Blood has a 100% chance to cast a free Blood Nova. And then you couple that with your simulacrums, which also duplicate your secondary skills, which is Death Nova. So when I cast Death Nova manually here, you will see they also cast the Blood Novas. So we're getting 3 Blood Novas for the cost of 1, essentially. And then when I'm casting Siphon Blood, it won't do it unless I'm targeting someone. But you never, almost never, except for maybe the beginning, will manually cast Death Nova. It's all through Siphon Blood. Let me show you guys again how this is going to work. Let's just go into a normal rift so I can take my time and think a little bit. Playing and talking is hard. So the first things we're going to do, I already have my simulacrums up, so we're good to go. We have 7 stacks of the Iron Rose. The way I like to get those quickly is by manually casting Death Novas at the beginning. So you can see I just lost health, 8, 9, and 10. 10 is where we're capping out with the Iron Rose here. This effect stacks 10 times. Heal up a little bit. Now it's already going down. So you do have to kind of maintain it, but if you're in a higher G of losing health, it shouldn't be that big of an issue. Now we're going to work on our 4-piece set stacks. We're looking for 300 stacks of this, and I'll show you guys what it looks like here. So I killed everything too quickly, but this is what we're looking for. Engorged. It lasts for 50 seconds, I think. Maximum life increased. So I have 55 stacks. You're wanting to get 300 stacks of this. So let's try to get some more stacks really quick. And it goes up pretty quick. And once you get it, from my experience, it's almost impossible to lose, so don't worry about it. But we're looking to get that initial burst of health here. So you can see I'm using spacebar as my force standstill, which you don't have to use. But I'm just casting Siphon Blood, and I'm Blood Novaing around me. So this is where the build requires you to be fairly close to your to enemies to keep that Blood Nova going. And then you could also see down here I had the 10 stacks of Siphon Blood. So these 300 stacks are giving us 9.2 million health, which is going to increase. I'm doing what was it, 12% healing from Siphon Blood. So we're constantly healing. We have a massive health pool, almost 800 million toughness. We can just run in and tank everything. I get hit for 1 million health there. Doesn't even matter. And then we got my bone stacks going. And then you just kind of run around. I can't not pick up legendaries, I'm sorry. So this is the build here. It's pretty straightforward. You're using 2 abilities. You gotta hit Simulacrum at the beginning, and then you do have to keep your bone stacks up, right? So I just hit it on cooldown. You don't have to hit multiple enemies every time. You could hit 1 enemy and it just refreshes all 10 stacks. And you don't have to hit 10 enemies initially either. You could hit 5 first, and then once the cooldown's back up, you hit another 5, and now you got 10 stacks. And yeah, our toughness now is, well, we were at 3 billion toughness there, which we're also getting from this. When I curse an enemy, I get a ton of toughness, and I can essentially just like stand here and tank these guys. And the build is just absolutely fantastic. If you can get all the pieces, it's super easy to start getting better acquainted with higher G rifts. The build is super forgiving, up to a point, obviously. You do have to make sure that once you get in the higher, greater rifts, like right there, that would have killed. I got hit for 1.7 million on that explosion. Obviously, you can't do that in higher, greater rifts, but for T16, just cruising, yeah, there's literally nothing that will kill you. Almost ever. So I just find that the build is a ton of fun. I feel like I'm saying a lot. My apologies. So yeah, this is the build, and I'm not going to be able to really show you how well it works against like the end boss, just because you kill everything too quickly. But yeah, this has probably been. I've never really played a Necromancer prior to this season, so this was just a friggin' blast, and it is very strong. Very, very strong. You need 1 ability, and it's so easy. You don't have to maintain any. Your essence doesn't matter. You don't lose any of it. You have so much healing because of how much health you have, and all you have to do is maintain your bone armor stacks, and then jump around and just left click things with Siphon Blood. That is it. The build is that easy. For pushing higher, one thing you're going to want to focus on is getting your area damage up. Mine's a little bit low. Looking for at least like 100 to 120%. If you can hit it, that's going to be ideal. otherwise, yeah, this is the build, and I think it's been a blast. If you have any questions, I know there was a lot going on there. Let me know in the comments. But I highly suggest you try this build out if you have not yet. It made Necromancer super, super fun for me. So, hope you all have a good night. See you guys later.